Hi there, it's Nicole for Handmade Holiday 2016, and today I've got some folded gift tags to share with you. I am taking a classic tag shape and I'm going to cut it on a creased cardstock, almost like a card base, and create some folded gift tags. So it's almost like a card in a gift tag form. I am using Neat Tangled stamps and dies to create this really cute set of tags. These did take a little longer than my kind of standard handmade holiday quick and easy. I usually try to keep it to an hour or less. Because I made so many of these and I made a little error along the way, they probably took more like 2 hours, maybe a little bit longer with the coloring. I got interrupted, so it was a little hard to gauge, but I would say that you could get these done in 2 hours. If you made less of these, you could do it definitely quicker. What I'm going to do is take a sheet of cardstock, and this is some kind of really pretty nice light blue cardstock, and I'm going to cut it in half to create a standard like side fold card base. I am going to crease all of them at that 4 1/4 inch mark. Again, these are a standard card base, so it's 5.5 inches by 4 1/4. But from this, I'm going to use the Neat and Tangled Classic Tag. I'm going to use my bone folder to get a nice crease first, but I'm going to use this classic tag to create my folded tag base. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to die cut a tag, 2 tags from each card base, if that makes sense. So you can see I'm going to just line it up where the top of the tag slightly hangs over that folded creased edge. I'm going to use a little post-it tape to hold it in place and run it back and forth through my Big Shot several times. Because this is die cutting through 2 layers of cardstock, it can be a little hard to get it creased well, or get it die cut well rather. So you may have to run it back and forth a few times. But when you get it, and for whatever reason, it did not this first one didn't die cut very well, but I got it finally. You may have to take your scissors and kind of trim that back tag, but it's really not a big deal. If your cutting pads are a little newer than mine, you might have a little bit better luck too. I've been doing so much die cutting. These aren't that old, but I've been doing so much die cutting. I really should have probably grabbed a new set of cutting pads. But there you can see that crease at the top makes it so that these are a folded tag rather. Next, I'm going to take greetings from the Neat and Tangled Santa's Wonderland and the Happy Holidays stamp sets. I'm going to use my Misty, and I am going to stamp the inside of my tag with these greetings. So it reads, "'Tis the season from our home to yours." These tags are actually going to go on some little goodie bags that I bought. The colors I picked match the goodie bags for our neighbors that live in the cul-de-sac that we live in. So I am trying to create these as fast as possible. I've also die cut the front of my tag from white cardstock. And I'm going to use that snowy border and then another greeting from Santa's Wonderland to stamp this on all of my white tags. This is the front of the tag. So this is where all the stuff's going to be going on. And this tag is going to cover up where the folded tag is not quite as big. If that makes sense, you'll see it here in a minute. But I stamped those greetings along all of that. Then I'm also going to stamp that snowy border on some masking paper and mask off that bottom portion so I can add some ink. Before I did that, I did go ahead and stamp the falling snow from Santa's Wonderland just I think about 4 times across the top of my tag design, sprinkled on some white embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat set that. And when I apply the ink over this, it's going to resist the embossed areas. This is another step that probably made this project take a little bit longer. You could skip this totally, just add some ink if you wanted to, or not. Whatever you need to do to make this project faster. So I stamped them all, I applied the embossing powder, I'm heating them all up at the same time. This is an assembly line style project. Most of my handmade holiday projects are. I'm applying some tumbled glass distress ink now. Originally, I used Salty Ocean, which is what you can see on my background there, my grid paper, which is what the error was that took me so long. I had to redo all of these. I say redo. I kept all the originals. They just didn't match the goodie bags that I bought. So the tumbled glass does. And the Salty Ocean didn't match my card base or the tag bases, which really frustrated me. I don't know what I was thinking. So I had to redo all of this to get to that. But the good news is I have a ton of card bases that I can use for another project. So very quickly, just applying this tumbled glass distress ink to all of my tag bases, removing my mask, placing it down on the next tag, and adding my color. It really is a step that's worth it simply because it adds a nice little pop of color. So there you can see what that's going to look like when I put it all together. Next, I am ready to stamp my cute little penguin and snowman from Santa's Wonderland on some smooth white cardstock. I'm using the new Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink. And I'm going to stamp these several times because I need 7 of them for my folded tags. I think I stamped 8 of them. I'll just use that last one for another project. I am coloring everything in with Copic markers. Pretty simple coloring. I picked these 2 images because I had not used them yet. I think I have used everything else from Santa's Wonderland except for these. And you could use any of the images that you want to. Part of the reason they're smaller than the Santa holding the tree and stuff, I tried to pick something that was going to be easy to color. And these were both very easy to color. I colored one set of them here on camera for you, and then I simply just kind of sat in front of the TV and colored the rest of them. They did not take very long at all. The colors of Copic markers I am using are shown across the top of the screen. Just a couple shades of red for the hats, the scarf. I did not even bother blending the little light bulbs. They're such a small image. These are for gift tags, so a lot of times for something small like this, I try to keep my coloring pretty simple. You still want it to look good, but try to keep it as quick as possible, especially as we're getting so close to Christmas and we're all in a hurry. Try not to go too crazy. So I'm going to move over to the snowman now. Again, some reds for his hat and his scarf. I'm going to do the little trim around his hat with green and white stripes, which ended up being a fun little look. And instead of grays for his body, I used the Cool Shadow marker, the BG10 marker, and blended it out with the colorless blender. Again, R00 for the cheeks. The little pink cheeks on both of them just add such a fun little touch, I think. That green and white stripe, for whatever reason, I absolutely love. I thought that was so fun. I kept the colors very simple, very similar. I used just what I had out on my table. I didn't grab anything extra. And then I'm going to take the coordinating Santa's Wonderland dies, tape them in place with some Post-it tape, and die cut all of these images. Then I'm going to take a black gel pen, add detail to the eyes, the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen, add that to the pom-poms on the hats, the light bulbs, the noses, little things like that, the trim on the scarf, the hanging ornament from the snowman, the gift package as well. Just a little bit of glitter or glitz and glimmer to the images. I'm going to go ahead and glue my tag front to the tag base, the folded tag base, using a nice strong adhesive. I am sorry I was out of the screen for this part, but it's just adding the adhesive and gluing the tag in place. And then I'm going to take some glue dots or some other small adhesive and glue a little penguin or snowman to the front of each of my tags. Super, super quick and easy. By this point, it's just putting everything together. Once I'm finished with that, I'm going to cut some lengths of red and white twine. I'm actually using a lawn fawn twine here. It's got a little bit of sparkle to it, so it's so fun. I'm going to cut all of these lengths at once, thread those through the top of my tags and knot them, and that is going to finish up my gift tags. So you could add jingle bells or something else if you wanted to. I tried to keep these fairly simple because this is very last minute, but they still are special and fun. One last thing I like to do is I usually like to try to personalize if I can. So I took a custom stamp I had and stamped the back of all of my tags. And here is what they look like all finished. All I have to do is write our family's names inside. Thanks for joining me today for day 4 of Handmade Holiday 2016 with these Neat and Tangled folded gift tags. The supplies I've used to create these tags are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Please subscribe for weekly card making and stamping videos. Here are a couple more Handmade Holiday 2016 projects that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.